the day you have waited for months and months and months. Whether you're a Met fan or a Yankee fan, you've talked about what should we do at the trade deadline? What should we do at the trade deadline? Who are we selling at the trade deadline? Who are we buying at the trade deadline? Trade deadline, trade deadline, trade deadline. Well, here we are. The trade deadline has arrived. In less than 4 hours, it's over. We don't have to hear about the trade deadline again. We're going to get results. And I'm sort of getting emotional thinking about this trade deadline. It was only a month and a half ago where 95% of the people here at this radio station wanted the New York Mets to trade everybody. And now we're in a different world. We're in a world of who are the Mets going to buy? We always knew we would be in a world of who are the Yankees going to buy. Mm-hmm. And if you're just tuning in, the New York Yankees just in this last hour did make a trade. They acquired Mark Leiter Jr. from the Chicago Cubs. Woo-hoo. I'll sum it up easily. If you're a baseball reference guy, that means you look at ERA, you're like, whoa. If you're a baseball savant guy, you're like, oh, give me more. Swing and misses. Bottom line is the Yankees acquired a major league reliever. Throughout this show, we will keep you posted and updated with the latest trade that happened, the latest they're really close to making a trade, and we'll do so with that breaking news glass. But, Tiki, I think the way we got to handle this is when the glass breaks, just so we're not fooled, we will then ask Sean Morash and Tommy Lugauer on a scale from, let's say, Ryan Stanek to, oh, my God. Where does this rank? And then if they tell us, it's kind of like Ryan Stanek, then we'll know, okay, it's minor.
You're dead to me.
And that's how we'll find out about these trades today. So I'm looking forward to it, Jake.
I am too, but I'm also ready for this to be over. I feel like we've been talking about the trade deadline since the season started.
Yes.
You look at all of these teams across Major League Baseball, and let's just focus on ours here. The only thing you do from day one of Major League Baseball season is talk about how flawed you are.
Yes.
How you have no shot to win a championship, how all of the cohesion and working togetherness and teamwork and all those things that evolve as the season goes on mean nothing. The only thing that matters is who can we get to make us the best team on paper.
Yes.
So once the trade deadline is over, you're stuck.
Yeah.
It just is who you are. If you start playing like crap, then guess what? You're stuck playing like crap for the rest of the season, a la Yankees a couple of years ago.
That's right. There's no longer that backup date of August 31st where you could acquire a guy via waivers. That's it. And I think what's interesting, because let's talk about both teams, and we will talk to you throughout the day, 888-808-1019, what you want, what you need. I believe the New York Yankees and the New York Mets are very similar but very different. For example, I think they're looking at similar players. I think the New York Yankees would love to add a starter like Jack Flaherty. I think the New York Mets would love to add a starter like Jack Flaherty. I think the New York Mets and the New York Yankees would both take a flyer on Blake Snell. I think they could both use another reliever despite the Mark Leiter trade. So while I think the Mets and Yankees are similar, here's where I think they're very, very different. The New York Yankees have two, I'd argue three, generational players in the prime of their careers, one of who is a free agent at the end of the year in Juan Soto. The New York Yankees, and we've said this all year, many have said this, it's a very popular opinion because it's true, the New York Yankees have to go for it. There's no middle ground. There's no half pregnant. They've got to go for it. So when the prices are high on Jack Flaherty, it sucks. But I think what you have to do, in my opinion, is hold your nose and do it. When you trade a young reliever that has a high upside at AA for Mark Leiter Jr., Teak, you're doing it because Mark Leiter Jr. gives you a better chance to win right now. And to me, the Yankees are all about right now. Yeah,
the challenge, though, with the rental, the Jack Flahertys of the world, is that the Yankees also don't want to have to, we didn't make it, now let's try to re-sign him. They're not going to do that with some of these guys that we're looking at right now because we know where their money's going. $550+ million is going to Juan Soto, and Hal Steinbrenner has already told us that we are not breaking the bank for this guy, and Juan Soto. And so it's daunting because if you do it, you better be right. Meaning you better go to the World Series and hopefully win. And that's a hard calculation. It really is. Now, Flaherty's having a hell of a season. His ERA sub-3. He's the best available pitcher other than Crochet, but you don't want to get him because he's going to demand a contract extension, which we already know is not tenable for the Yankees because of what Hal has said. So it's complicated. It feels easy, but it's complicated because it feels like it's just money, but it's actually a lot more than money. It's calculation that Brian Cashman and a la Hal Steinbrenner have to actually think about before they make these deals happen.
I wouldn't overthink, especially for the rentals. Put Garrett Crochet aside because, as Tiki mentioned, Garrett Crochet has demanded, hey, if I'm traded, I need a contract extension. Put that one aside because that's unique. The New York Yankees can't think about, are we re-signing Jack Flaherty in 2025?
But if they don't win a World Series, that's what people are going to start to talk about.
But that's for next offseason.
Let's say he's amazing. Let's say they trade for him, and he's absolutely fantastic.
Great.
He's
maybe
right up there.
Maybe you win it all.
But what if you don't?
Look, but I think when you're one of those top echelon teams, and the New York Yankees are, the Los Angeles Dodgers are, the Philadelphia Phillies are, the Baltimore Orioles are, there are these top echelon teams, you can't worry about that. And to me, as much as these prices are nuts, and they are nuts, what I saw, what the Astros gave up for Yusei Kikuchi, I actually barfed last night. I actually threw up. No offense to Yusei, but I saw that return, and I said, are you freaking kidding me? Then I heard Trevor Rogers was traded. Now, Trevor Rogers had one good year in 2021. Sure, he's a lefty. Sure, he's under team control. And maybe a smart team, can fix him. That's what the Orioles are going to try to do. And then I heard what they gave up. And I get it's prospects, you never know. And I, again, almost threw up in my mouth. Like, the cost on some of these average players, it's rough.
Yeah.
But I think when you're the New York Yankees, you almost have to swallow it. You almost have to say, look.
Why? Because everybody else is?
No, because this is your moment. This is your tick-tock moment in that Aaron Judge is having another monster year. Juan Soto is a free agent at the end of the year. Whether you think you're going to sign him or not, you don't know. And Garrett Cole for now is healthy. And we see how it's difficult keeping starting pitchers healthy. This is your chance. It's the same thing I said to you a year ago when talking about even trading Garrett Cole, which was, hey, you got a ticking time bomb. You need to take advantage of this. So I think the New York Yankees need to continue to be aggressive. I like the Mark Leiter trade. I am not afraid of a double-A pitcher with a high strikeout rate because you're scared that in 2 years he can be really good. This isn't about 2 years, bro. This is about now. So when I look at the New York Yankees, could they use a starting pitcher? Sure, I guess. I don't feel like I have to then flip Nestor Cortez, which apparently are the rumors. Could I use another infielder? Yeah, you want to know why? This Yankee lineup feels transformed, right? Jazz Chisholm already looks like that superstar I think he can be in New York City. But Gleyber Torres is a freaking problem.
Yes.
And I never thought it would be this big of a problem, but it seems to be growing. So if Luis Rengifo is still available and you can bring him in,
yeah, but
Gleyber, guess what? Either I'm trading your ass or you're going to the bench. And likely, more than not, I'd make him a bench player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in a rush to dump him. I'd be in a rush to do what they've done to DJ LeMahieu over the last 5 days, Teak, and say, guess what?
Well, it's interesting when you look at a guy like Gleyber because Gleyber, I guess kind of like Nestor, feels like he could be traded. Get to a different spot. Maybe whoever the next organization, manager, team can figure out how to get something out. It's a change of scenery situation that we always talk about. Maybe Gleyber needs that. Maybe the pressure of playing for a contract under the bright lights of Yankee Stadium have done a number on him. And if he goes someplace else, he'll be fine. So
maybe.
there could be value in Gleyber Torres and moving off from him. But you have options.
As long as there's value, Teak. My only point is I'm not a believer. I never have in just giving people away. So my attitude, if I'm the Yankees, is if I can upgrade my infield, continue to, because Jazz Chisholm has already supplied that early on.
Yes.
And Sean, apologize. Just turn the mic on and just say, I'm sorry, Evan. Go ahead real quick.
I'm sorry, Evan.
You got it. Thank you, man.
Why? What did I miss?
So here's what you missed, Teak.
I don't even know what I'm apologizing.
He doubted that Jazz Chisholm could play third base.
Oh. Yeah, I am sorry.
Oh.
And I am so sick and tired of
being a hater.
Oh, they're haters, bro.
No.
I am so sick of people doubting my guy Jazz. I'm sick of it.
Oh, screw
Enough of
you,
this.
pal.
Enough of this.
Tiki, I am so pro-Jazz. My point was, in the middle of a pennant race, to thrust a guy into a position he's never played scares me.
How'd he look, Tiki?
Hey, he looked fantastic. He turned a double play. He should have turned two if Gleyber didn't screw up the second one.
Exactly.
I'm just telling you.
Exactly.
He got the Jazz hands, man. He got the Jazz hands.
Look, I think that was a great move to the point where I would already say, even if the Yankees don't do another thing, I think this was a good trade deadline. It has a chance to be great. It has a chance to be great. Could they use another bat? Sure. To me, I would take another reliever. And a high-end reliever. Tanner Scott would be so freaking amazing for this Yankee bullpen. And it's not to replace Clay Holmes, because I still believe in him. It's more to give you other options in that bullpen.
Just in case.
Yeah.
If you don't want to disrespect Clay Holmes and you put him in the 8th inning, you can say, hey, it's the value part of the lineup.
Or it
right?
depends who's coming up that
Right.
night.
It depends on who we're calling up. We can mix and match. And it's not a demotion, Clay, but it kind of is an in-place demotion. You get someone who potentially in different situations can be better. Like I think the Yankees are in a good spot right now. Because remember, we had this conversation about a month and a half ago. When you start looking at the Yankees line, this is after Giancarlo got hurt. Look at the Yankees lineup, and it's like, man, after Judge and Soto, or Soto and Judge, who is it? Who's scaring you? And with Stanton coming back, hopefully that fixes itself. Now you throw Jazz Chisholm in the conversation. It just feels more depth. There's more opportunity for big hits,
no doubt,
big plays.
No doubt.
You saw this. I think you started to see this evolve with the Mets. It feels like they're fine, and maybe they have a couple holes here and there, but they feel like they're fine. The Yankees felt top heavy, 2-person heavy, and there was no one else. Jazz Chisholm changes that significantly.
That's
already.
why they've already had a good trade deadline with a chance to be great. But, and this is the difficulty we're going to have today, I'm offering you an opinion about the New York Yankees that is very, very different than the opinion I'm about to offer you about the New York Mets. With the New York Yankees, I go for it. Yes, it stinks to have to give up that much for Tanner Scott or that much for a reliever you're eyeing. But I think when you're this close, I think when you have a great player in free agency, I think when you've got a top-of-the-line ace who is a ticking time bomb, because every pitcher is a ticking time bomb, I think you have to look at things more aggressively. And then you get to the Mets. And I'm sorry, Met fans, we have to have a difficult conversation. Because them being in a wild card race, just go back to the beginning of the season, not necessarily when they were 11 under, because like most Met fans, I was looking at them at 11 under saying, boy, we stink. But at the beginning of the season, I expected this. I expected that this Met lineup would be better than people gave them credit for. I expected that the rotation wouldn't be great, but it would be just good enough. I also, and this is where I was wrong, I expected the Met bullpen to be a lot better. It is not. But where they are standings-wise does not shock me. I'm not shocked by that.
So is this a good or a bad? I'm trying to figure out where your take is headed.
Well, it's about to go to a place that's going to split Met fans. The idea that the New York Mets, because they're in a playoff race, because they're right there, because sure, they could be the Arizona Diamondbacks, why not? That means they've got to do stupid things by dumping their farm system or blowing up their farm system for players that are not that good is lunacy. They are not in that position. Now, would I like to have that glass break? And would I like to have Sean or Loogie say, hey, guess what, Ev, Teak? The Mets got Blake Snell. Of course I do. Would I love to hear that they got Tanner Scott? Yeah, I want to win. I'm a season ticket holder who's wasted my money for centuries. Trust me, I want to win. But I don't want to be stupid. And when I see what is being traded for Jason Adam, for Carlos Estevez, for Trevor Rogers, for Yusei Kikuchi, my fellow Met fans, I ask you this, let's not be stupid. And I think if the Mets had made any of those trades, while their roster would be better, absolutely, it would be stupid.
But it's hard for the Met fan to look at what everyone has seen. This is a month and a half of great baseball. It is a team that is the 5th most wins in the National League, the 5th fewest losses in the National League. They feel sound right where they are. So why not? Right? Why not? Why can't it be us? Why can't we take a shot?
I'll tell you why. And this is very difficult to do. Okay? I have argued with anyone who would listen. Okay, I would argue with anybody about this is a new baseball world. All you got to do is make the playoffs, and you can get hot. And I stand by that argument.
Well, I think it's a little bit more than that. It's also, are you better than some of these teams that you're going to come up against? Are you better than the Pirates? Are you better than the Brewers? Or not even better, can you beat them on your day?
So, Teak,
and I think the answer is yes.
Yes. So
maybe the Dodgers and the Phillies are the two outliers there, but you know what? Maybe if you don't see them until you get to where you have to be.
But you're right. I agree. Yes, the Mets could go on a hot, miraculous run like the Philadelphia Phillies did 2 years ago, like the Diamondbacks did last year. I don't deny that. When the Mets make the playoffs, I said when. If the Mets make the playoffs, I am going to have that belief that we all should have, which is you never know.
Yeah.
But I do not believe you should go stupid, crazy trading prospects in a you never know season. The Mets are a you never know team. They are not the Philadelphia Phillies. They are not the healthy Atlanta Braves. They are not the Los Angeles Dodgers. So let's not get this twisted. Yes, Mets make the playoffs? Sure. Crazy crap can happen. I argued with Sean about that last year. Regarding the Yankees, hey, just make it. You never know. I stand by every word on that.
Yeah.
But on this day, July 30th, you can't be stupid for a team like this. You cannot blow up your farm system for guys that are not that good. You say Kikuchi is not that good. Now, present to me different trades. You want to talk about Tariq Skubal? Let's talk about what it would cost. It's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Mets and David Stearns, and guess what, Met fans? You may not like what I'm saying. You know who agrees with me? And I'm pretty damn confident they agree with me. David Stearns agrees with me. Because I'm going to give you a prediction. We are not going to see the New York Mets blow up their farm system for average players. I'm sorry. We're not. And I know it's going to be frustrating.
Who would you blow it up for?
Well, blow it up?
Yeah, who would you blow it up for?
I wouldn't even blow it up for Tariq Skubal, and I'll tell you why. As much as I would trade big prospects for him, and I would entertain the idea of it, I can't trust starting pitchers. I'm going to give up my entire farm system for, yes, a lefty who's looking like he's emerging as one of the more reliable lefties in baseball, but we talked about this all year. You want to blow the farm system up for that?
No.
For the unreliability of it?
No, I don't think so, because there's guys down there who actually could be okay. They could be the next guy.
Well, I'll give you an example.
Talking about the starting pitchers in the minor leagues for the Mets. They could be those guys themselves, so you don't necessarily need to get rid of them prematurely.
I'm glad you said that because I want the Mets to win so badly, okay? I'm so selfish in this way. I want the Mets to get all these pitchers we're talking about, but I don't want to give anything up. Mm-hmm. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
You want to keep your guys, too.
I want to keep my prospects. I want to eat my cake and have it, too. But if the Mets don't make a big deal, my wife's calling me in the middle of the show. That is very concerning.
Yeah.
I may have to go to break real quick after this.
Maybe she knows that the Mets made a trade. She's got inside information.
Let me just make this point, and then I'm going to very quickly call her back. If the Mets don't make a trade for a starting pitcher, Brandon Sproul comes up. He's one of their top pitching prospects. And I would take that risk with some of the young pitchers they have instead of trading them away for average players. We'll get back to your calls coming up at 888-808-1019. And also, the Mets have a secret power, and they should use it the next 4 hours. We'll explain what it is. Evan and Tiki on the Fan live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
If you live in New Jersey...